How are we doing? Good? Oh, I know you. All right. Okay, I'm the last one before we get some food. So stay with me for a little bit. Before I start, how many of you are actually doing product management daily? Just like trying to understand? Okay. That's what I was expecting. Half, half. So I'll be more explicit about what it is. It's good. Well, hi everyone. My name is Alexey. I'm a product director at PandaDoc. And today I'll be telling you about platform product management, yet another specialization in our product management's world that is fairly new. I see a lot of skepticism in your eyes, specifically these two, three guys. But I'll explain it and you'll see that it makes total sense. So before we dive into this, I'll tell a little bit about myself. As it says on the slide, I'm a director of product management. I added the word platform because it's the topic of today. I actually joined the teams many years ago at DocuSign, at PandaDoc, at Qualtrics, and all of those were technical, platform engineering, and then after years, you understand that it requires a little bit of a different mindset as a product manager because you're owning an ecosystem. You're not just building a feature, not just building a product. And we'll learn about this. I spent my experience building products from, customer-facing mobile apps, to frameworks, to technical frameworks, to software as a services. And I realized for last years, why should I be building one product for one persona when I can build a product and give it in the hands of other product managers, and they can build it for me and even for multiple personas. So this is how my passion for platforms or for ecosystem basically was created in my head, and that's why you see me here today. All right, so by the way, before we dive into all of this is fairly new. So don't treat this as a business advice. This is just like my personal opinion. Don't go and break things in your companies. Wherever you see today, including the mistakes on the slide, it happens. So this is more for you, a little bit informative to know what to do with this. Is it interesting for you? Maybe it's a career change for you. Maybe you learn something new. So, and also product management, by the way, it's changing, it's evolving, and that's why we have these conferences, so we share what we witness, what we think has changed, and platform product management is actually one of the things that is new, and we're trying to share this experience with you so you understand what's happening in the world. With that said, this is our roadmap for today. We'll be talking about a platform. What is a platform? Why we need a word as platform? What does it mean for a product manager to be a platform product manager? What it means in terms of measuring success, in terms of daily activities, what are the challenges, and in general, why we're talking about platforms, why this is actual today. And in the end, I will try to wrap it up into some key takeaways, and then we'll get some food. So, what is a platform? Obviously, we can use this a very technical terminology and say that a platform, is a big thing, and it is a big thing, and it's one of the characteristics. But basically, as a platform in product management world, we as product manager, we understand platform as a system that enables other teams to deliver value more efficiently and drive growth. And usually, it's a set of tools or frameworks or solutions or a set of products, all in one to have one goal, to make things more efficient, more innovative, and simpler. And a good platform, in my personal opinion, again, should have 4 characteristics. One of them is scalability. It should scale. You can get more users, you can get more product managers, you can get more products, and your platform just needs to work and scale as you grow. And if you're building a platform that doesn't have this, and again, I'm not talking specifically about technology. Obviously, engineers are trying to have the scalability intrinsically there, but product managers need to think about this. This is a product management perspective. Next, we have reusability. And I'll give you an example. When we build a functionality, let's say it's billing, right? You're building a billing system. It doesn't really matter for what team you're doing this. It should be reusable. Whether you're launching a B2C add-on or whether you're launching a subscription, your platform needs to support that. So all those teams don't spend more time on this. Enablement is basically what we do at platforms. We enable other teams. We're basically providing them a box of Lego pieces, and other teams need to take these Lego pieces and build a new product and deliver a new value. This is what platform does. An ecosystem is the fourth very difficult thing to achieve, and some companies have done this, like AWS or Shopify. Basically, you build a platform that other actors can contribute to it and build even more value. Then you're achieving the real platform epiphany. Obviously, platforms could be not only externally focused, but internally focused as well. So why platform actually is happening today? For a few reasons. First of all, advance of technology, right? Now we have cloud technologies, API, microservices, which empower everyone to build products every day, build quickly, build scalable things. And it's just an opportunity, right? It's a premise that you need to use. Second, on the other hand, we have the complexity of software. It gets more complicated. It literally gets more complicated. Today, we want our solution to have integrations, to have workflow engine, rule engine, AI ML, to have scalability, to integrate to APIs, to databases, S3s of the world, everything. And it's not even like a super science, right? It's like mandatory. Every product we build should have this already built in. And next, we already mentioned, right, scalability. Like there is no, and I would rephrase it into some sort of flexibility for the company. Today, your company is focusing on B2C. Next year, it shifts the strategy and is trying to address B2B. Next year, it's trying to go in Australia. Next year, in Latin America. A platform should enable all of this flexibility, scalability, and efficiency just to happen simply. The strategy will happen. We witnessed COVID. During COVID, all companies had one strategy. COVID stopped. A different strategy. You need to build a platform that is adjusting to all of this. And that's where platform came in, first of all, in engineers' mind, because these were engineers' responsibility to do. And for the last 3 or 4 years, engineers gathered together in a platform conference. They come together and they share with each other the experience of building platforms. So now it's time for us, product managers, to also catch up, because just building, it's not enough. And this is where platform product management appears. So again, we have the premises, right? We have the need. We see that technology is changing. We see that engineers themselves try to put together all these technologies so it solves problems. But platforms need to be managed. And that's where platform product manager comes in. Look at it this way. Today, product managers build, for instance, a house, right? You're responsible for building a house. Platform product managers are responsible for building a whole neighborhood. They're responsible for the roads, for the logistics, for the utilities, for everything. So the scope is bigger. We're not anymore focused on one product. We're building something that allows other product managers to build houses. Technically speaking, it's like literally we're managing and strategizing across solutions, and we want those solutions to be long-term, and we're trying to make sure that this enables stakeholders from like end users to developers to our internal teams. Like literally the platform should be persona agnostic. You could have as many users as you want, as many stakeholders as you want. The platform should be use case agnostic, because you might shift your strategy. The platform should be future-proof. That's where the long-term vision comes in. All right, but what does it mean for a product manager, right? I sort of like hinted that there's a difference, and you can read on the slide, I guess some of the most important ones that for me as a product manager, I kind of see that they're like, you see the difference every day, and probably the first one is Horizon. I noticed I manage a product manager team, and like a lot of product managers join our teams, and I notice how thinking is short-term. Like, I need to launch this feature, deliver value to the customer. No, we're not doing this way. We're building a future-proof mechanism, probably, that will support many use cases and many evolutions of this feature, right? Whether it's notification system, billing, API SDK, you need to change the mindset of how you're thinking about building this feature. The focus is not on the end users. You have multiple users, and you're thinking neighborhoods. You're not thinking one house. I'm not building this for like one specific persona. I'm thinking for everyone. And it's very challenging. It's very challenging to build and even to come up with an MVP when you're thinking that long term. Obviously, we're talking about impact, right? Like scope. I don't know if we want to get into all of this right now, but probably I added this one. I think it's interesting. Because growth-wise and building product-wise, usually we see a lot of like terminology that we're building 0 to 1, and for platforms, it's like we're building 1 to infinity or like 1 to many. You're not anymore like focused on one thing, and you're just building it like from nothing to something. You're building for many, many scalable and repeatable processes. All right, so I guess in terms of responsibility, it doesn't really change in terms of what a product manager does daily. But when you add to it the scale and the scope, which is like not one house, right, but it's like a neighborhood, then alignment, strategic alignment, cross-team collaboration, all of that jazz that we do every day is like much more complicated. It takes so much effort. And one of the things that I'm looking in product management, and I think that this is a must, for platform product management, number one is communication and collaboration, right? It's sort of things like a default, but here its importance is so evident because you need to align not with engineers and designers only. You align with partners. You align with revenue work, marketing work. You align with everyone, and they have different KPIs. You actually align with different other product teams. And each of those teams, departments, they have their own goals. Like literally every quarter, they have their own OKRs, KPIs, you name them. And we, platform team, need to satisfy all of them and to enable them to move in their direction. So it's pretty challenging. Another challenge specifically for platform is that you have to convince both the stakeholders, especially internally, and your leadership that you need to invest and use platform. And we'll talk about this and challenges, right? So one of the challenges is that platform product management, it has a toll on you, right? Because you're building very, very complex features that they don't impact directly your customers, they impact it indirectly, and actually the impact could come after a year. So like, how you feel this like impact of your thing, and then you need to go to the leadership. It's like, okay, now we're investing 2 teams for 2 quarters to build this thing that will enable everyone to do rockets, whatever. And the leadership's like, show me numbers, show me OKRs, like show me the impact. I'm like, I don't know, like I will build this for Sebastian, and like Sebastian will drive this OKR, right? So it indeed is a mindset shift, not only in how we build, but actually how leaders look at it. And I've noticed that a lot of leaders apply this in theory, but in practice is very challenging. Every feature that we build in platform is a strategic investment. Platform does not build small things. Platform is not, I'm building a feature, I'm launching a bit testing, close it. No, no, you're not doing this. When you build a platform feature, it's like it's solid. It's always a strategic investment. And you need, that's another specificity of this job. Because everything that you build, it should be like literally aligned with the company goals and with the strategy. You're not building a thing short term. You're building a long-term thing. Obviously, when you think what I'm saying, right, like imagine how you need to manage all this dependency. Because like a thing that you change will impact the whole city. It's not one house, right? It basically impacts the neighborhoods, impacts the cities. So that requires, again, a different thinking, how you're doing, launching feature, delivering those features. We already talked about ROI and measuring success. And I want to talk a little bit more about success, because this is the challenge that I have every day. Like my job, more difficult job as a director of product, I need to convince my leadership that we need to do this. And it's like a job very, very difficult, because the metrics, again, we know that the metrics not that easy to like you have a framework and then you need to have a direct link that this framework will drive X revenue, where we'll stop churn and so on. We still try to do this. Again, this is a new specialization platform in product management. So we're trying to be creative. And some of the things that we're thinking how to report this, basically we'll be measuring adoption rate. Like we need to show that the other stakeholders are using it, right? And it's fine probably if you're Shopify and your platform is like allowing merchants to build stores and to sell. And you probably could see, okay, we have that many merchants that are using our platform, or your AWS, and you see they're using your components. Internally, it's challenging. You basically need to go to each teams and say, okay, you need now to use this. Or like most recently, we have built a unified analytics service, and like I literally need to go to each department and say, now you need to use a unified analytics service, because this is how much value we will deliver. But teams don't like it. They like their own softwares. They like their own tools, and they think that they know better. So we need to definitely measure the adoption. Reliability, performance, clearly. Whoever does technical product management understands that this is a must. You cannot be building things. Only one type of product managers are allowed to do not the most scalable and like reliable work, and this is the team that does experimentation. Like growth product managers and whoever does experiments, they need to do things quickly and maybe not to invest too much. So for them, it's fine. All right, so challenges. I sort of mentioned some of them, but like to get more specific, think about because all of us probably work on OKRs, KPIs, we do reporting quarterly, early. And you need to show what you're doing. So the trick that we have is we're trying to have shared OKRs with other product teams. And we're basically at two teams that are working towards one goal. My team shares OKR with the revenue work. For instance, if we're doing expansion internationally, and we own that environment, then all the revenue they bring is our KR. It's literally, without us, they will not be able to do it. So I think it's fair. We're doing shared KRs. I actually recommend to do shared KRs for everyone that does not work on platforms. It's a very good thing to share responsibility and to have team collaborate with each other. Indirect revenue, we already discussed about this. It's very difficult to show and measure that whatever framework you build will have the result tomorrow. You need to let it bake. And then in the future, you'll see how quickly you sped up the work, you brought more efficiency to the company. Company now spends less time, or teams save more cost. So all of this, you need to be patient. The long-term impact we discussed. And these are some examples, right? Probably, again, there are clearly more companies are doing this very well. But some of these companies that we know are doing really well, right? AWS, we all know, they also provide these cloud pieces that we could put together and build software. I already mentioned Shopify. Netflix is a good example of a lot of internal platform work. Engineering-wise, they have shared a lot of knowledge how to build microservices, how to build this platform so they can scale. And I will add PandaDoc here as well, because we do build a lot of products internally for now. For instance, we have launched recently a personalization framework. And basically, personalization framework enables any team building any product to drive customization. They don't need to do this on their own. They're just using a tool that is agnostic. Doesn't really matter. Are they launching an e-signature product or a CLM product, or they're launching a new add-on? They all could use the same thing. Or we also are launching, most of you should know probably the notification service, right? You might think that notification service is a simple thing, but it's very complex. And actually, intrinsically, by default, it should enable everyone. And it also has interaction of the end user. So you're thinking like, OK, I have end user. Then I need notification to partners. Then those notifications should be multi-channel. Then all of the teams should configure those notifications. And all of this burden of thinking, platform teams take them off the product teams. Like, you guys think how to deliver value. We're giving you the Lego blocks. You take the billing functionality, you take the notification, you take the design system, you put this together, you assemble this into new value, and you try to drive adoption, sell it. So with that said, a few key takeaways, right? Platform thinking is critical for more than products, in my opinion. We cannot ignore it anymore. It's happening. Again, engineers, 3 years in a row, have their own conference discussing how to use the technology. Technical product managers are forced to adopt this thinking. They are forced. They cannot ignore this anymore. For product managers, this is a unique thing, a unique experience. You need to express a different type of qualities, and you need to change the way of your thinking. And that's what I actually wanted to tell you today. Even if you're not working on platforms, you have to think future-proof. You have to think scalability. You have to adopt this thinking today. Otherwise, your company will struggle, because they will change the strategy. They won't be ready. Other teams, you have different teams. Those teams they're misaligned on OKRs and everything. You need to unify them. And especially for product management profession, I do think this is a unique growth opportunity. It literally pushes you to the limit that you are not focused or limited to one feature. It makes you think beyond those features. So before I wrap up, obviously, I'm looking for people. We do hire right now. I'm looking for a principal product manager. So if I interested you with platform product management, and you're thinking that you're up for the job, I have 2 opportunities right now, but maybe more. I'm looking for a principal, and I'm looking for a senior. So please drop me a line at my email. And that's basically what I wanted to tell you. Please adopt the platform thinking. Please start thinking beyond one user, more holistically, and be ready for the new changes in modern product management. With that said, I think we'll get to Q&A, and then we'll grab some food. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexey. That was really, really interesting. No, honestly,
That was really, really interesting. What's the topic?
No. I actually, anyway, we'll talk after. Rude.
Oops. I'm in trouble.
I do have a question for you, and I'm curious. I think something oftentimes that a lot of product managers struggle with is the balance in the role between discovery and delivery, because platform teams historically they don't even, they're not even necessarily thinking about product and kind of thinking about bringing product practices. A lot of platform product managers are basically engineers that have become the person that like stands up to do the product management for the team. So how do you think that the role of, or what role discovery plays in a platform team? What does that look like and how does it manifest?
So I give you example how we do this at PandaDoc and how we used to do at DocuSign. So specifically my team, yes, we do have engineers that became product managers because it's like super technical, you need to understand. But at the same time, you do need the product knowledge of like how you're approaching this and to apply the product craft to platforms. And we do own, in terms of usability, because we're a platform, we own the end user experience holistically. We're not focused, this is more for the context, we're not focused on like, okay, we own this menu. No, we own holistically, which means that in practice, what my team does, it owns user journeys. And those user journeys are horizontal, foundational, platform level, and we do have user research, specifically analyzing all those user agnostic, persona agnostic user journeys, and we're trying to drive user experience across the platform. We actually are pushing other teams to adopt new design thinking, design system, new designs. So it doesn't, if you don't have a user research team, you still have to do it. Yes, not for everyone. It's a challenge. You're still a product manager. You'll have to do it. You don't ignore this even if you're building platforms. You have to, and basically it's probably more challenging because your user journey, your research overlaps and interacts with others that are doing persona specific. I gave you more context than answering, but like I hope you got the pieces that are important here.
Okay, so next question. Have you faced situations where customers impose short deadlines? How do you convince them that an extended deadline for a more scalable solution is worthwhile?
Yeah, and that's usually happens when you work with mid-market or enterprise. We actually discussed this yesterday. It's communication. Communication is the most important thing. When you're working with customers, you talk to them. When you're working with big customers, you talk to them. You teach them how you operate. You teach them how it works in your organization. And the more reasonable you are, they will listen to you. They understand, okay, I know how you work. You know what you need. And when they want something, what product managers do? They do problem discovery, because sometimes what customers want is not what they need, right? So the first thing is to communicate to them and understand, is it really what they need? The second is we're doing problem discovery and then solution discovery. There are multiple solutions to their problem, and we could suggest them short-term solution, mid-term, long-term. You need to, as a product manager, to navigate this, to navigate your customers' expectation, to manage those expectations. And obviously, you need to always provide options and solutions. If there's a customer that like forces you, I don't know, that's probably need to be written in the contract that they should not do that. Communication is the answer.
So this, I think this is an adjacent question. How do you convince other teams in company to adopt tools that you've built for them?
Yes, that's one of the challenges that platform product manager unique to this. It's a long work, so you don't expect this to happen right away. But normally, how we do, you have meetings with other stakeholders. You show them the value. You show them how it works, how this will speed up their work. They won't need this to, you basically explain how this works. Then you have documentation. Then you have enablement session to them. You're basically driving adoption of this for multiple quarters. You're not leaving it for them just to adopt. It's a tedious work. You go, you convince them, you make sure that it's prioritized in their backlog, in their plans, and you help them to do this with documentation and other tools.
If I just started a small business and raised $200,000 and a use case for a simple software product, how much should I spend with building a platform?
How much?
200K USD.
No. Platform is not for. I mean, it's probably you'll just use a platform. So platform is for companies that become more serious. That they want to. It's actually depends where the company is going and what they want. If they need something soon, let's say it's a company post product market fit and they're thinking, how do we grow next? Then they need to understand what's the ROI, how much do you invest? If we're buying it, are we using AWS for this? Or are we doing this on our own? Are we buying a billing solution or are we building? It all depends on the maturity of the company, on their strategy, on cost effectiveness, and on how quickly you need this. If you need it tomorrow, then you definitely don't invest. You're trying to find a different solution. So for startups, pre-product market fit, don't get into this. Use the tools that are available. Be nimble, agile, lean. That's the recommendation.
Okay, and last question. How can you handle stakeholders who suggest solutions rather than expressing their needs?
Oh, I mean, that's default. It's again communication, right? Like every stakeholder has its own approach, so there is no silver bullet what to do with these kind of stakeholders. They have different motivations. You need to understand what drives that motivation, why they're solutioning. But in general, most of the stakeholders that you're referring to are execs, right? Like CEOs or like more leadership level, and they come to you and like, I want this, and that's it. Like, and normally a product manager should know how to approach an exec. You come with data, right? Like data is number one. You need to bring data and show this is the data. This solution is better than yours. And most of the stakeholders, they are reasonable. Like they cannot argue data.
Thank you, Alexei.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Let's have some.